$10 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody's day is off to a phenomenal start. Gentlemen, how are we doing this morning?
Doing all right. Feeling pretty good. Got to go shopping a little bit this morning.
Yes.
And we'll probably devour that a little bit later.
Yeah, Nick Frazier came with bearing gifts this morning. We've talked for weeks about the official PB&J of the NFLPA jams, which I've never tried before. And Dr. Crane has brought them in. We might have to do a live taste test here, see how they stack up to Uncrustables.
I was a little bit concerned because they were in the frozen aisle section and they're rock solid. So just FYI.
I told you a couple weeks ago when I was out at the golf course, that's how I like my Uncrustables, is I like them frozen.
I guess you like them like ice cubes because I about chipped a tooth the first time I devoured one.
Well, maybe not that frozen. Like you have to let it thaw a little bit. You have to let the bread get soft, but you still want the peanut butter to be a little bit frozen.
Oh yeah, I mean that's when I was sitting down. That's kind of what it was at. So
we might have to test these out in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Connor, how's it going this morning?
It's good. It's a lot quieter here for some reason. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it is.
I mean, it's summer. It's summer. You know, it gets a little bit quieter. We are into the dead period of the NFL season, but we'll still talk some Titans. Some news came out about the Titans training camp schedule yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. But the big news last night, I went to bed a little bit earlier last night and completely missed it, but just before 11 p.m. Central Time, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, was traded away from the Milwaukee Bucks. He's going to the Miami Heat in a trade that involves four players going back to Milwaukee. Bobby Portis also going to the Heat. 3 first-round picks, a pick swap, and maybe a second-round pick too. There was a whole lot in this mega deal, but Giannis Antetokounmpo finally traded, and he will be down in South Beach this year.
Good for him. He's out of Milwaukee. Milwaukee was, I think, in for a breath of fresh air. And I think we both know this, that marriage was starting to get real stale. And good for him.
They won a title with Giannis there,
it's
right?
True.
Like to my dismay, being a Suns fan, they were able to come back from down 2-0, win that championship. So I don't blame Giannis. He did what he set out to do. He brought a championship to the Milwaukee Bucks, and obviously it hasn't gone as well as you would have hoped since then. I want to say they won 32 games, something this year, and he's still a superstar. He's still a top 10 to 15 player in the league, and he can go down to Miami, which has a pedigree of winning over the last 20 years with Eric Spoelstra in charge, and before that, Pat Riley. So I'm excited to see what this looks like with Bam Adebayo. They did have to send Tyler Hero back to Milwaukee in the trade, but it's definitely a good landing spot for him, and we'll see if it's a good fit as they get on the floor. Miami now, their future is centered around Giannis because they had to trade away a whole lot to get him.
Is Bam still in South Beach?
Yes, he is.
Then
83 points, baby.
Then this is a match made in heaven for a guy like Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. Like, this is what you want. You want your two, in this case, twin towers down low and just abusing the paint.
Yeah, that is true. The rim protection is going to be pretty elite with Giannis and Bam down there.
See, I don't think they get any better with this trade. Like, I understand you give up a lot to get Giannis and you think that's your guy, but who's going to get him the ball? You don't have a point guard. Are you banking on the fact that you're going to develop through the draft this year because you got some, I guess, decent picks, but this isn't a super loaded draft. It's pretty top heavy. So I don't think the Heat get too much better with this trade.
I mean, it's a superstar driven league. So getting a name like Giannis, not only does it, it going to build excitement around your team, but having a player like that gives you a chance if you're able to surround him with a decent supporting cast. I'd have to look at the Heat roster and see, like, do they have shooters around him? Because that's always important. You remember back to the team that won in Milwaukee. They had Drew Holiday running the point. They had Chris Middleton kind of as the Robin to his Batman. You had Brook Lopez. So it's going to be, I wouldn't say this makes the Heat championship contenders, but it does give them that centerpiece that they can build around moving forward because, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, good players. Those aren't guys who are going to drive the bus to a championship team.
Yeah, you need a solidified guard. Like, I'm looking through the free agent wire right now, and one name that does pop up, but again has some baggage right now with some off-the-court issues, and that's James Harden. I mean, I think that might be somebody to look into in Miami because of what's happened recently, but
I don't know. James Harden, basically since he left Houston, has tried to be the number 2 to another superstar,
Right.
Whether it was in Brooklyn with KD or in LA with Kawhi. It was like, all right, let's get this duo, and James Harden's going to be the number 2. And this past year, it was Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland, and it just doesn't work out. He's not going to be that guy for you. I think he's kind of in that Russell Westbrook era towards the end of his career where it's just like, all right, you got James Harden. Great. He used to be a superstar, but now what's he going to do for you? Probably not too much.
What do we always say about guys like that, Frazier?
what's that?
You light my fire.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh boy, now you can get that song stuck in my head.
Outstanding.
Looking at this team for the Heat, I mean, there's not a lot. They've got some young talent there, but there's some older guys too. That Norman Powell has been a good player in this league, as he was part of that Raptors championship in 2019, I want to say. Andrew Wiggins is on the Heat. I had no idea. Former number 1 pick.
This team's old.
It's I mean, looking through this roster, it's Bam and it's Giannis, and they're going to have to find people who want to come play with those two guys this offseason. But there's not a whole lot else going on there. Wiggins is getting paid almost $30 million a year. Powell's getting 20, but and you get Bobby Portis in this deal too.
Easy now. Yeah, Bobby Portis is a sneaky 3-point specialist. I know he's a power forward, but let's pump the brakes on a guy like Bobby Portis.
He's coming off the bench, though.
It's all right.
You're starting Giannis over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying in general, if you need a 3-point basket, go sub the guy in the game.
This will be it's an interesting experiment because Giannis, when he didn't have that team around him in Milwaukee, yeah, he was still putting up close to like 30 and 10, but it wasn't enough to lead to wins on the floor. The Heat don't really have much of a roster around him, but they make the deal. Milwaukee looking to rebuild. And I was thinking about it last night of the last 10 years. I mean, it was Kevin Durant made his decision in free agency on July 4th, 2016. That was when he decided to go to the Warriors. And I know that was free agency, but the way superstars move around the NBA compared to like the late 2000s, I miss those days when it was like guys would stick it out and say, I'm going to build where I'm at and not try and go somewhere else and chase a ring. And I think the decision by LeBron, and I get it, these weren't trades, but the decision by LeBron and then KD going to the Warriors has led to these superstars. It's like, all right, if I'm not happy here, you're going to send me somewhere else. And we've seen trade after trade after trade with these superstars. And it's just the way the league works now. But I do miss watching you had rivalries that would be set up for years and years and years. And yeah, there'd be players who would struggle to establish a winning culture. But when they got there, I think there was more satisfaction to it when, I'm trying to think of a specific player from like 2008, 2009, who like stuck it out where he was at and it ended up paying off. And
Paul Pierce?
Yeah, sure.
Boston?
Kobe.
Kobe.
Well, Kobe had Shaq in the early on, but yeah, like they got rid of Shaq. They built around Kobe. I miss those days when there were teams that it wasn't just like, all right, how can I build a super team? How can I get somewhere else where I'm going to go have a chance to play with this guy? Like you got drafted somewhere and you tried to build around it. Like if Devin Booker ever won a championship, that would be a great example of he's had opportunities to request a trade and want to go somewhere else and he hasn't done it. That would be an example of somebody who's staying where they are right now. We don't get that very often nowadays.
No, and I'll take a little step back real quick for a player that just retired recently. I feel like would fit well with the Miami Heat, and that's Chris Paul. I know he's retired, but I mean, give it one more try. Give it the whole college try.
See, Chris Paul, he was very good deep into his career, but I think we've hit the
max with him.
We've hit the expiration date on Chris Paul.
I mean, all you gotta do is just pass the ball. I don't want you to shoot. I just pass it.
See, Chris Paul, yes, passing, obviously, one of the best distributing point guards ever. But man, when he played with the Suns, those teams that were good and the one that went to the finals, his ability to get to his spot in the mid-range and just knock it down every single time. Chris Paul's a great player. And he was kind of part of that first wave of players chasing rings. the trade to the Lakers that got denied by David Stern said
yeah.
no, like, nope, we're not doing that. You can't go play with Kobe. And then he ended up with the Clippers and with Blake Griffin, Lob City. But no, it's Chris Paul. I agree with you. They need a point guard there. You've got Bam. You've got Giannis. You're going to need somebody who can distribute the ball to those guys.
It's going to sound weird too. Another idea to throw out there. Obviously, LeBron's a free agent. He's been to Miami before. That is a state that does love to enjoy its money. Why would you not want to go back to the East Coast and say, I'm going to go back to South Beach?
Yeah.
And bring your son with you.
Right.
Because your son's a guard. You're, I guess, somewhat of a small forward. Just, play the basketball game. You know what I mean?
I saw somebody made a video last night of as soon as the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade goes down, it's the Bucks front office, and it's I'll get it done on the phone, and hangs up and shreds Thanasis Antetokounmpo's contract. It's like, all right, Giannis is gone. Get rid of his brother.
The pronunciation. I mean, golf clap here. Fantastic job.
You say some of these enough and you get it. Like a lot of the Hawaiian and Samoan players, like Tua Tagovailoa and DJ Uiagalelei. It's like you say it enough, it starts to become second nature.
I love it.
Ryan Arcidiacono.
Arcidiacono. There you go.
Oh, we went through it with Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, we had to get that one down too. There's been plenty. Jackalenga Mwenentanda.
I still have that one knocked down.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to text or call, our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Chad on the text line says, the thing people don't talk about when bemoaning the league is the role the teams play in actively tanking now versus the early 2000s. Franchises are failing players just as much. No, that's 100% true. It's on both sides. Franchises are failing the players, but the players, I think, also have that quick trigger. And Giannis may not even be an example of that because he stuck it out for a long time in Milwaukee over the last few years. I mean, it's been 5 years since they won the championship. So he may not be a great example of it, but you used to not see these huge superstar moves. And now it's like there's 2 or 3 every offseason. And so that was my point. But I agree with Chad that it's not just the players, it's the franchises too.
Yeah, I think we're getting to the point now where, again, the Knicks are a prime example of it. They said, screw the picks. We don't need the picks. That's what the NBA is. It's currency that's not really valued the same as what everybody thinks it is.
Yep.
In all honesty, the NBA draft is not the same as the MLB draft. It's not the same as the NFL draft, where first round picks are sought after. Obviously, the NBA draft's a little bit different when it comes to rounds, but I don't think the NBA's product on the court reflects the off the field or off the court. I'd say off the court off season moves in a roundabout way.
Yeah, and it makes it exciting when you have all those moves. Like I remember back, I think it was like the 2019 offseason or 2019 offseason was the one where like Kyrie and KD went to Brooklyn and like that was a huge deal right as free agency opened. So, it makes things exciting. And tonight's the NBA draft. I think this will be a fun draft. Matthew in Nashville asked, who do you think goes number 1 tonight, Peterson or DeBonsa? Well, we can talk about that a little later on. Also can talk about where Nate Ament might go because he is sure to hear his name tonight. The question is just how early. And NHL draft coming up on Friday. Free agency for both leagues next week. So exciting time of year for the NBA and the NHL. We'll talk about that later on in the show. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Lots to get to. We'll start with the Titans. News yesterday that Robert Saleh has succeeded in getting joint practices with all 3 preseason opponents. Let's talk about what we might see when the Titans get on the field with those teams that could lead to some good matchups, some development, and lead you into hopefully some success when you get to the regular season. 615-737-1025. Off and running, Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, and Connor Newt here on Next Man Up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. Getting you going on this Tuesday morning. Talking some Titans here in the first hour. We'll also get to the news. Haven't mentioned it. Pekka Rinne into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Pekka. We'll talk about that in the second hour of the show. But yesterday, we got training camp dates for the Titans. Rookies report July 23rd. Veterans report July 28th. And 3 joint practices, 1 with each team on the road in Santa Clara against San Francisco, 2 at home with Seattle and Chicago. And I wanted to ask the question because during training camp, those are kind of the peak days. I know preseason games are there's more that goes into them. You're in the stadium, the fans are there. But even though Robert Saleh says the starters are going to play in the preseason games, it's usually for a series or 2. You don't know if the other team is playing all their starters. The joint practices are really where you get a good idea of how your team stacks up. And these are 3 really good teams that the Titans are going to square off against in these joint practices. San Francisco, playoff team from last year, was 1 game away from being the 1 seed. Seattle, of course, is the reigning Super Bowl champs. And Chicago is an up-and-coming team who is a couple plays away from the NFC Championship game. So these are 3 teams that are going to be stout challenges for the Titans. And I'm really excited to see a Titans team that is supposed to take a step forward, what they're going to look like on the field with them coming up in August.
Yeah, I mean, the matchups I'm more intrigued to watch is just how all these opposing teams secondary go up against the Titans wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I think that's the big question mark everybody wants to look at. We all know the Carnell Tate, I guess build up around him being the 4th overall pick, and you want to know if he is the wide receiver of the future. But with that being said, you have to also look at Cam Ward. Is the development of his footwork, which becomes a huge emphasis and continues to be a huge emphasis on him, is that going to continue to develop? Is he going to be able to throw certain balls in stride or on the back shoulder, or is he going to be able to just those option routes everybody keeps talking about? Is that going to be a huge emphasis in the preseason, or are they going to have more set in stone, I guess, wide receiver routes in this case?
Well, these will be good checkpoints, I think, for Cam Ward, because obviously we saw a little bit of growth towards the end of the offseason program. The last week of OTAs wasn't very good. Mini camp, he took a step forward. Now you're hoping that the buildup of training camp, it'll be about 2 weeks before they head to Santa Clara. He'll have that time to hopefully continue to grow. And these will be good checkpoints. You get to see what he looks like against San Francisco's defense, which, of course, has star players on that side. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. Secondary has some guys, too. Diamador Lenore, good player in the secondary there for San Francisco. So I think these are good checkpoints of, all right, first joint practice, how does Cam Ward look against San Francisco's defense? All right, maybe there's some ups, some downs, but not where you need to be. Then you get 10 days and you get ready for Seattle. Like, I think this will be good spots to check in and see where Cam Ward's progress is as he builds up for the regular season.
Yeah, and also with Robert Saleh knowing certain players on San Francisco's defense, you can kind of get a little telltale of what you're looking for. So to me, I think that's a good thing, looking at a guy like Brian Daboll implementing his offense and Robert Saleh putting his input as well, hearing it from the 2 horse's mouth in this case.
I'm excited for the San Francisco one just because you got Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, obviously good friends, have worked together a ton over the past decade, and both of those guys call plays. And I just always think back to, did you watch the Lions Hard Knocks a couple years ago where it was Aaron Glenn against, was it Ben Johnson who was calling plays at that point?
Yes.
I think it was
so.
But it was like they showed the battle between those 2 guys and like the emotion of, oh, I got you here, I got you there. Like, I'm excited to see what that dynamic looks like of 2 friends who both are known as some of the better minds on their side of the football. Saleh versus Shanahan, I think, is going to be fun in that joint practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that friendly back and forth, but at the same time, it's almost like high school football camaraderie in the locker room. Like, hey, we're going to battle against each other in the tug of war, or we're going to do all these little L drills, whatever. Which position group's going to finish first? That's kind of the atmosphere I'm kind of vibing from those 2.
And I like that it's only 1 day with each team. Yeah. Robert Saleh, I thought that was a very astute observation that he made when he talked about these joint practices, that day 2 usually devolves into chaos. Mm-hmm. Like, you get the guys out there for day 1, and usually it's good work. Maybe it gets a little chippy towards the end, but then it kind of rolls over into the next day, and that's when you get the fighting. That's when you get the brawls. Like, I think that 1 day but doing it for all three opponents is going to be just so much more valuable for the Titans than it would be if they just did 2 with San Francisco and 2 with the Bears, because you may only be getting 2 real days of work between those 4 practices. Whereas I think you're going to get 3 solid days against 3 different teams, which allows you to get more of an idea of where you stand around the league.
Yeah, because when you start breaking into position groups, like let's say the offensive line goes against the defensive line in joint practices, you're right. That's day 2 where a lot of these fights and tussles go out, and you see that on cameras and so forth. Look, wasn't it Robert Sala's first, I guess, his introductory press conference? He said he wants to be fast and violent, right?
Yep.
That is one of those things that will happen in those joint practices. So, yeah, kudos to him for just the one day. And also, too, it's hot. You're in the hot summer.
Right, it's August, yeah.
There's no need to waste all that extra energy on just basically doing joint practices, but with just different position group things. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, we all know mid to late August in Nashville is not going to be cool. And so having those 2 practices against Seattle and Chicago, like if you did 2 against one team, you can be sure tempers are going to boil over at some point. Like there's going to be some unproductive activities going on there. I think this is a good idea for Robert Saleh. And it gives you an idea of where you stand compared to multiple teams, because different teams have different strengths. Yep. So maybe for San Francisco, you don't match up well against their defensive line and you struggle there, but you can learn from that and regroup. And maybe on the other side against Seattle, it's, oh man, we struggled to cover their receivers with Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith-Njigba. We've got to work on that there. So I do think that this just gives you more data points to work with as Robert Saleh tries to figure out what his team is going to look like this year.
Yeah, you get enough film in one day for sure. And also, this may not play a factor, but to me, I know it definitely played a factor. It's just the practicing on plastic turf on a field like that. Your feet are going to get real hot because of those pellets. And nonetheless, in some of those practices going to be at Nissan Stadium, correct?
Not the joint practices, okay. But they're doing like a showcase for the Titans in like
August,
like a week before they go to Santa Clara. I want to say so early August.
Never mind then. All right,
but no, it's a good point that. Things that's why the joint practices it's like they're productive, but only to a point, because the heat, the tensions, it's like every single year you see multiple brawls. So I like the thought process there from Robert Saleh.
Another thing I want to see in these joint practices is just the linebackers, and not going, running downhill and making a tackle, because that's not what they're really about. To me, it's more of how are they in zone coverage? How are they dropping back into their 5-step drop to the hash? Like, I want to see if that is being processed into the first couple weeks.
100%. That was actually something I wanted to bring up. Is these are teams that like to use their tight ends and have talented tight ends. George Kittle for San Francisco. Colston Loveland's expected to take a big step for Chicago this year. So I'm excited to see what the linebacking group looks like. You expect, Cedric Gray is going to be a starter. And then I think it's the battle between Cody Barton and Anthony Hill for that Mike spot. TD actually told us last week he thinks it's going to take a couple months for Anthony Hill to truly win that job. Now, he's the future there. He's the future Mike linebacker for Robert Saleh. But TD said that, for a young player, it's a lot to step in, be the green dot. You've got to know, where your defensive lineman should be in the gaps. You got to be able to handle zone coverage. So I think those will be good tests, especially for the young guys, Gray, Hill, even James Williams when he's out there against some really talented tight ends that you'll see for the other team.
Well, before Robert Saleh took over the Tennessee Titans, and when they had the previous regimes with this Tennessee Titans team, everybody thought when Cedric Gray was drafted from UNC in the 4th round, that he would be he'd be a great green dot guy.
Yeah.
Now it's evolved into him, being in the rotation with these players. Yes, he is a solidified linebacker, but as that Mike linebacker spot, you're really looking at Cody Barton and Anthony Hill. To me, I think it's more 60-40, 60 Barton, 40 Hill. And like you said, from what TD was saying, it evolves into something else.
Yeah, I think you can maybe even compare it to the wide receiver position I think Calvin Ridley is going to be your starter on the outside, probably at the Z to start the year. But as Chimdike develops, as Alec Ayamander develops, maybe you see a changing of the guard there at some point in the season, because Calvin Ridley, he's probably gone after this year. He's on the decline of his career. You hope that Chim and Alec are ascending, and they could end up being starting caliber players for you at wide receiver. So I think it's similar at the linebacker spot of Anthony Hill, lots to learn as a rookie, especially in this Robert Saleh defense. Cody Barton may be able to handle the early, growing pains for Anthony Hill, so he's not thrown into the fire completely early on in the year.
Right. It's just that kind of taking your little brother under the wing and saying, look,
Right.
I'm here to help you. It's that veteran leadership that every franchise just yearns for. And for the Titans' sake, they kind of have that right now. And the fact that everybody's kind of on happy terms and not, I'm fighting for this spot. This is my spot going forward. No, it's more of like this is a locker room thing. We're a team. We're trying to win something. So
yeah,
that's kind of the vibe I'm gathering from, when Connor and Parker go to practice and from when TD's in the office. Like it's good to hear stuff like that.
Yeah. And again, it's still early. Haven't hit training camp yet, but I think there's reasons to be pleased with the competition that you're seeing across the roster, whether that's wide receiver, on the offensive line, linebacker. We'll see how it all plays out when, they get padded and we get into these joint practices. But, they've built some depth on this roster at a lot of different spots that they didn't have it previously. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to join the conversation, text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Today, the Nashville Sounds take on the Gwinnett Stripers at First Horizon Park, the AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. First pitch is at 6:35, and you can catch all of the action on 94.9 The Fan. Presented by Twin Peaks Family Leisure, Maple Street Biscuit Company, Mad Fireworks, and Social Cantina. More Titans talk on the other side. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. This is a great song. Not really like super awesome like content, I guess. Number 3 and number 7.
Hey, mellowing out. Give me a pontoon boat and beautiful skies.
I mean, I like it's a good song, Eric Church, Morgan Wallen, but you know, I guess it's true. Number 3 and number 7 don't add up too much good, but like wrapping it around a tree exactly is like
I think it's a NASCAR reference, right?
Yeah, it's
among other things.
It's Dale and Jack Daniels. Basically like whiskey and trying to drive like you're on a racetrack don't go well there together
unless you're on a back road, which again is not safe at all. I do not consider
it's not safe anywhere.
No, it isn't.
We're talking Titans here. Titans announced their training camp dates yesterday, including 3 joint practices, one with each of their preseason opponents. And we were kind of going through what to look forward to when they get on the field, because again, preseason games are fine. And according to our friend Trey, some of them are must wins. And, you know, the Chicago game, really hope that the Titans don't expend all their energy trying to win that one ahead of the Jets game. I hope Trey's listening. But the joint practices are really where you find out more about your team, because you're getting 2.5 full hours of best on best when it comes to offense versus defense. And I'm excited to see some of these matchups. We mentioned the coverage against tight ends. What are these young linebackers going to do when they face George Kittle or they face Colston Loveland? You get the savvy veteran George Kittle and the explosive young guy in Colston Loveland in 2 different practices. Seeing the Titans cornerbacks against some of these wide receivers, specifically the reigning offensive player of the year in Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think that's going to be intriguing as well, because corner's a position that I have some concerns about. Alontae Taylor, good player, but probably not considered an elite player, and you paid him $20 million a year. Cordell Flott, starting level player, you're paying him $15 million a year. You want those guys to be good this year. With what you're paying them, those guys are supposed to be cornerback 1, cornerback 2, and productive players on the outside. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to lock down Jackson Smith-Njigba. That's not going to happen. But I'm excited to see how they match up against a player of that caliber, probably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, and just it only will validate how good Alontae Taylor is, because I don't think we'll see Cordell Flott on Jackson Smith-Njigba. And nonetheless, too, is Cordell Flott going to be fully healthy by preseason?
Yeah, he was out there last week, correct, for minicamp?
Yeah, and I think you would see him against Jackson Smith-Njigba because he was lined up against Carnell Tate a lot in practices last week.
Yeah, so they moved JSN around, though. Like, he'll be in the slot, so you'll see some Marcus Harris on JSN, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not expecting it to be like, oh, the Titans cornerbacks held JSN to 2 catches during team periods the entire joint practice. It's not going to happen, but you'd like to see it be competitive. Because you're going to face good wide receivers throughout the season. You're going to face Garrett Wilson in week 1. I mean, Geno Smith seems to have some of his own problems going on right now, but he struggled last year with Vegas, I believe led the league in interceptions, but Garrett Wilson's still a very good wide receiver. And we saw when the Titans brought in L'Jarius Sneed, even when he was healthy, Tyreek Hill burnt him multiple times against the Dolphins, and Alec Pierce got him multiple times against the Colts. So I'm excited to see just how can they keep it competitive. JSN's going to get his, or Luther Burden or Roma Dunze. Like, they're going to get theirs, but can you get yours too? I'm excited to see if that's going to be a back and forth, or if it's like, we might be in for a long season on the defensive side.
Yeah, I'm just on paper, just looking from the Titans defense to Chicago's offense, mentioning Roma Dunze and Luther Burden there's so much variety on that offensive side of the ball for Chicago that I feel like would give Tennessee a run for their money when it comes to just seeing what they have for true talent on the defensive side of the ball, and also too, like, how good are they in certain coverages? Like, I think that's one thing you look at Chicago and say, you have Caleb Williams, and basically one of the best rising quarterbacks in the league. Is he going to be a difficult thing or a difficult problem for the Tennessee Titans defensively? And I think that is a possibility.
Yeah, that'll be a fun final joint practice leading into the last preseason game. Caleb Williams, Cam Ward, and obviously they're not going against each other,
Sure.
But you can get an idea of Caleb Williams. We talked about it, struggled in OTAs and was able to take a ascend during training camp and have a good year? Can Cam Ward do the same thing? But I'm excited to see a lot of these different matchups with San Francisco. I'm trying to think of their wide receivers. Is like Ricky Pierce. They have Mike Evans. I will always think of Mike Evans as a Buccaneer. So it's like it totally went over my head that he's on the 49ers now.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to a buddy yesterday about that. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, Mike Evans on San Francisco." Like, what?
I know. And it's like I totally remember watching the free agent frenzy and seeing that come down, but it's just so hard to wrap your mind around Mike Evans being anywhere but Tampa.
Yeah, it's Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle,
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. Interesting.
Go Commanders.
Go Commanders. I mean, they can't trade him to Washington, right?
I don't know.
You can't give in at this point when he's just outwardly asking to be traded to Washington.
Could you imagine if he does get traded to Washington? Now you have Debo, Terry McLaurin, and Brandon Ayuk. I mean, that's dangerous.
I mean, maybe Washington's the only team that would give anything up for him. So I guess that would be, if that's the case, then I guess you have to. But
let's look at what he's been posting online. He does not look like he's in football shape at all.
No, he does not.
The guy's like 40 plus pounds overweight.
Somebody did make an AI. They made him look really fat in one of those pictures. I think he is a little out of shape, but not as out of shape as some of the pictures that are circulating.
Okay. No double chins is what I'm getting.
Well, maybe. Yeah. But there was one that made him look like he was like 70 pounds overweight.
He ate too many of the jams, didn't he?
Yeah, the jams. There you go. Too many seed oils.
There you go.
With Brandon Ayuk, I guess he wants to reunite with Jaden Daniels. They were together at Arizona State before Jaden Daniels transferred to LSU, so I get it. But Commanders reuniting Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk too.
Do you think Brandon Ayuk has to go through the substance and abuse policy through the NFL?
I don't know. Like, I'm sure they're drug testing him, right? Because
they have to.
But I think it's more not knowing anything about it. Like, I would guess more CTE-ish.
Well, yeah,
related things. Like, it's similar to what we saw with Antonio Brown, right?
Yes.
Of just like was really good player and didn't seem to have any issues, and then just one day it all kind of like turned. And so I don't know. That would be my guess, but I have no idea.
I mean, he doesn't have to be having to be drug tested 24/7 if it's through the substance and abuse policy. But I mean, if you're not in your right state of mind and you're kind of showing that you're in a different
right,
I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah,
I feel like that would require some sort of
like
SAB,
the NFL has like the concussion policies on the field of like, if you're looking out of sorts, they're going to pull you off the field.
Right.
When you're going on Instagram Live and talking crazy, shouldn't that fall into it too? Of like, hey, let's like make sure you're okay before we put you back on a football field.
Yeah, because there might be lawsuits pending if that's the case.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. All of our football offseason coverage is brought to you by Tennessee Brewworks, finely tuned craft beer for finely tuned fans. Tennessee Brewworks, official craft beer of the offseason here on 1025 The Game. We'll wrap up hour number 1 after this. Talk more about Cam Ward and so on. Carnell Tate going to get tested in those joint practices throughout training camp as well. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newton, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. I got to say, I don't think I know this one.
It's on the same album as the last one.
I wasn't a huge fan. Was I'm the Problem the last album?
Yeah.
I see. Too many songs.
Ernest is just incredible, man.
It's a great one.
And honestly, I like the song listening to it now, but I would rather him compress it down to like, even if you want to do a big album, do like 20 good songs instead of 36 songs. Like there's never 36 songs that are good enough to make the album.
Yeah. I just feel like 36 songs. It goes back to the days when we used to, not we, but I'm saying society used to have an A side and a B side of a record.
Yeah, I'm fine with a double album, which his last one before that was a double album, which
Yes.
I liked a lot of those songs. And I just felt like 36. I tried to listen through it, and it's like it takes 3 hours to listen through the entire album, and I'm just like, man, I can't even remember which songs I liked and which ones I didn't.
There's some skips on there, but it's good stuff. It's a good album.
I just think I'm in favor of, yeah, sure, do a bigger album because people like that. 15, 18, 20 songs, somewhere in there. I don't know if you need 30 plus.
It's fair. And I don't want to get too in the weeds with the music, but like beats per minute has become a big factor. Like I see online, people are like, oh, 144, 112, like anything above like basically 110 is going to be a hit. I just don't understand.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird. The algorithm is really
I mean, yeah, with all of the information and, the AI that you have now, I'm sure they can find the trends of, okay, songs that include this become a hit at this rate. Like it's
interesting, man.
It's like sports.
Yes.
Dustin from Hopkinsville says it's only too many songs if one song is bad. He made a statement with this album. Every song is good. Maybe I have to listen back to it. Maybe I have to go back through it because I'm sure there are some songs I missed.
I wouldn't say every song's good. There's some skips on there, but
there's skips on every album.
No, there are some that have no skips.
Yeah, we have had this conversation. I will say that there's probably a few no skip albums, but it's tough. Like you've got to find the album that doesn't have one song that's not good. I don't know if I can think of any specifically.
Thriller.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
That's an extreme example.
You get to some some ridiculously good ones. Like I have really been enjoying Noah Kahan's new album.
See, that's an artist I can't get into.
Really?
Me neither.
Can't do.
I've really been enjoying it, but there are some songs on there that I'm just like, and I'll skip it.
Noah Kahan has like those like melodic songs, right?
Yeah, it's like folksy.
Okay.
But he's got some really good music. I saw him at Bridgestone 2 years ago, and I swear one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
I'll give it another try.
And it wasn't even the songs that I knew. Like I knew some of his songs and I'd sing along to it, but it's like every song I didn't know, I'd be like, man, this is a really good song. So shout out Noah Kahan.
All right. Noah Kahan.
Wrapping up our Titans talk here in hour number 1, Cam Ward is going to be who has the microscope on him. Obviously, he's the quarterback. I do think Carnell Tate, this is going to be a good test for him as you go through training camp and through these joint practices. All of these teams have some really talented cornerbacks, and we saw Carnell Tate had some really good performances early in the offseason program. But, as Connor told us last week, once the starting corners got back out there, Alontae Taylor, Cordell Flott, it wasn't quite as easy for him. So I'm fascinated to see how he develops his game as he starts facing tougher competition, because he's probably going to be getting the number 1 assignment a lot. Maybe not like right off the bat, but as he grows and as he continues to play, I think he's going to be getting these top cornerbacks on him. So I'm interested to see how he's able to develop his game against these top level players in these joint practices.
Yeah, especially in the red zone too. Obviously, when you have the joint practices, you can kind of go in certain situations of the game. If you want to try red zone for 2 minutes or do the 2-minute drill, whatever it may be. I would love to see how this Titans offense looks in the red zone, because that's something I've been harping on since February, March, around that time.
Yeah.
That this is a team, I think, wide receiver wise, is really good at high pointing the football. We saw it last year with Ellick. Probably have seen a little bit. Connor Jeff has probably seen it for sure with a guy like Carnell Tate. See what Calvin Ridley can do. I mean, to me, and you have Gunnar Helm as well. So you have some valuable pieces on this offense that can probably do some damage in the red zone. We'd like to see how they do it against other people besides, the Titans defense.
Yeah, and you're right. Red zone is going to be huge for this team. They weren't good in the red zone last year, and they just don't have enough proven touchdown scores. You hope Carnell Tate can be that, but you look back at last year's stats. Alec Iamaner scored 4 times. Jim Dike scored 4 times. Gunnar Helm scored twice. For the Giants, I want to say Wan'Dale Robinson only scored like 2 or 3 times last year.
I thought he had 9 touchdowns total.
No.
No.
4. He had 4.
4.
So he had 4 touchdowns. So none of your top targets had more than 4 touchdowns last year. You're going to have to find somebody who can put the ball in the painted area. Carnell Tate, I would say, would be a top option, a guy who can go high point the football, can make contested catches. But you'd like to see Gunnar Helm maybe get 5 or 6 touchdowns. You'd like to see Wan'Dale Robinson with his short area quickness get into the end zone a couple more times. Alec Iamaner can be a bigger red zone threat. So that is a really important phase of this offense's growth, is just not having to settle for 3. Because if you're settling for 3, that's not, field goals aren't going to win you football games. You're going to have to score touchdowns. And right now there isn't a proven touchdown scorer on this team.
Yeah, I think we all understand everybody knows what Tony Pollard is. I'm not sure he's going to be punching in the goal line that much this upcoming season because of the weapons you have outside of that running back room. See what you can do with Tajay Spears as that scat back. Maybe he catches one in the flat and you can do something there. But I don't know. There are a lot of weapons on this offense. It's just a matter of how you use them. And even Brian Daboll said in his introductory press conference, it's about how you present the offense to defenses, and that's the way you disguise it as well. So it's just something that you got to keep in mind, because he's somebody that, I mean, Connor's seen it firsthand with Brian Daboll on the field. Is that, I mean, what have you liked out of him as a coach throughout the OTAs and minicamp?
Out of Daboll?
Yes.
His intensity, his accountability. He, like I've told you, there's adults on the field now. It's not, oh, it's okay, buddy, you'll get him next time. No, there's words that are being said out on the field that I can't repeat on the air because they're bad words. But it's the accountability and the intensity. He holds them to a high standard. And if a minor play, even if it's situational, let's try that again, situationally based in a mini camp, isn't executed the right way or the way that it's expected to be executed, they're going to hear about it. And there's going to be consequences for it. So I like the accountability, the authority, the overall maturity that goes for the entire staff. But for Brian Daboll specifically, I feel like as well as his system can fit some of these players on the roster, I think his accountability for them is just as equal.
Yeah, I like Brian Daboll and Cam Ward both said it last week. You know, they're working on things, but they're trying to be elite every time they step on the field. And I like that mindset of, you know, obviously you're going to miss some throws. You're going to miss some plays, but you should go out there not saying, oh, it's okay. You know, we weren't great today. You're trying to be elite every time you're on the field. And training camp, a month away, 1 month from today, the rookies report, and you know, there won't be any open practices until probably a week later, but it's coming up quick, and we'll have to see what the Titans look like when they're on the field playing within themselves and the 3 joint practices as well. 615-737-1025. Craig has chimed in on the no skip albums on the text line.
Ooh.
He's got 4, excuse me. And I got to say, well-rounded music taste for Craig here. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, Nelly's Country Grammar album, any Alan Jackson album, and Hardy A-Rock he says no skips on any of these albums.
Shout out to Craig. I do like that variety.
Go Craig. That was good. And Alan Jackson final show coming up in Nissan Stadium.
29th, I believe.
Yeah, coming up quickly here. So those are good ones from Craig.
Country Grammar, he's absolutely right. There's no skips on that album.
That's a good one. I'm trying to think of any off the top of my head that are like, I would listen to every song.
Any Bruno Mars album, but that's me.
Really? Oh yeah. I forgot you're a big Bruno Mars guy.
Oh yeah.
I would say Getting Old, Luke Combs album.
Yeah, there are a couple Luke Combs albums that there's very few songs that I don't like. His new one's really good. I've listened through that one a few times.
Rich Man seems to be the popular one on that album.
I gotta say, if Joe Rexroad's listening, he might kill us. But like, Songs About Jane is a really good album from Maroon 5. Not going to stand up for the rest of their discography, but Songs About Jane's a good album.
Yeah. Come on, Rexroad.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Hour number 2 coming up. Big news yesterday. Pekka Rinne going to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. We'll talk about it. And where does he stand among all Nashville athletes? We'll get into that in hour number 2, plus much more. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newton, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Second hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Titans talking hour number one. We're going to get into Pecorine. Announced that he will be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. But we did do our taste test of the jams, peanut butter sandwiches. Thoughts from everybody?
Connor?
Sorry, I'm producing
That's
too.
Okay.
They're good. I'm loyal to the Uncrustables brand, but
they're very similar to the
they taste pretty similar. I had blueberry. I haven't had strawberry yet, but the blueberry was all right. I will always remain faithful to grape jam Uncrustables. That's my thing. But
they are seed oil free.
And mom approved.
Yep, and mom approved. Yes. So there you
Good
go.
to know.
It was solid. It was solid. No complaints about the jams. The official, it's the official PB&J of the NFL.
Yeah, I give it a 6.3. I'm being pretty critical, and also my experience this morning at Target,
just brings it down.
Yeah.
What's the order number? Just so everyone
G15,
knows.
by the way. If you're looking for it, it's in aisle G15. Don't ask anybody because they don't know where it's at. Goodness gracious.
All the frat guys are buying it out too. I've seen on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a hot commodity among the frat culture. And moms around the country are very disappointed in this.
Why? It's mom approved.
It's mom approved.
Yeah,
but not for frat guys.
But the moms can't get it for their kids.
Gotcha.
All the frat dudes are buying it out.
Well, I mean, look, I told you guys this in the break. The best way to eat this would be put in a little egg wash, French toast this bad boy.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, it's supposed to be a healthier option, which not a healthier option. It's 270 calories. Uncrustables are like 210, 190. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean,
but seed oil free. Robert Saleh approved.
I guess so. Give me every bit of oil on it. I want all the oil. Give me all the regular peanut oil in there. I mean, yes, it does bring down inflammation, but we'll see if my inflammation is rising.
All the oil.
We'll have to see by the end of the show if our if we're inflamed.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm reading the text line. We've got some more no skip albums that people are sending in.
There you go. It's crazy how we will talk sports for nonstop 3 hours, and one little thing we talk about.
I know, just mention music or TV or pop culture, and it's like everybody texts in. We got 4987 says Casey Musgrave's Golden Hour, no skips. That is a good one.
Yes.
Craig says Luke Combs has 3 albums, and I don't skip a song. He just puts out bangers. That is very true.
This is true.
Luke Combs does not miss. And then AB in Clarksville says AC/DC Back in Black and Alice in Chains Dirt. No skips for both of them. So we're getting a wide variety of country, rock. Haven't gotten many pop. I don't listen to like pop music now.
No, I do jokingly to mess with you and Parker on Friday.
That is true. Yeah.
But most of that is like early 2010s.
But like,
stuff.
I guess you said Bruno Mars. That would be like a Bruno Mars
that's
pop.
That's more, R&B.
I guess that's true.
I don't know. I've hindered myself from expanding my music knowledge in the rap hip hop world. I stopped after like 2010 with the Carter 5, or that was like what, 2015, 2016?
Yeah.
The Carter 5, the Birdman old albums. Like I'm all into that. Ace Hood, Young Money, all that fun stuff. But then as for today, I just can't get into any of it.
I think there's a certain age that once you hit, you just can't get past it. Like I can't get into rap anymore. I like some of the older stuff that we used to listen to in childhood.
Sure.
But now it's like, it all sounds horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I get a class on like old school rap hip hop with TD every Thursday,
Yeah.
but
that's good stuff.
It's great. I love it. But I'm so bad with music, especially now. Like my wife will make fun of me for like playing a song, and I'm like, "Oh, what's this song? I've never heard it before." And she's like, "This is like the most popular song in the world right now." I'm like, "Sorry, like I listen to our station when I'm in the car because I'm like trying to listen to what everybody else is doing, see if we can build something off it for the next day." Like I don't listen to music in the car, so
yeah,
I apologize.
We all have our own, ways to figure out new music, right? I mean, as a kid, this is going to sound weird for the variety of music I listened to. When I was with my grandparents, they'd pick me up from school. It was 90s country, and then go home to their kitchen. It was like opera Italian music like Pavarotti, Bocelli.
Yeah.
And then
Bocelli, baby.
then went into like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack. And that was like fully on like just cycling through CDs.
Yeah.
And then I had an older brother, still have an older brother. He's 6 years older than me. And we had the same iCloud account. And he would always download all this rap music. And so when he's playing football in like junior high, I'm listening to rap music that all the 8th graders listen to. I'm like, I probably shouldn't be listening to this, but that's like the upbringing of music through me. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I think everybody has their like phases of music where you're growing up, you're listening to all your parents' favorite music, whatever that might be. And that's kind of your taste. And then I think you're right. It's like middle school, high school is when you get into like whatever is the most popular among your classmates, whether it's rap or, pop or whatever it is. And then you find what you like later on, like once you get later into high school, into college, that's when you kind of develop your own music taste. But it is so influenced by your family and your friends, especially when you're super young.
Oh, 100%. I mean, playing football in high school, like whatever playlist that was, I had somebody send that to me because that's what I'm listening to 24/7.
Well, that's what got me into country music. I didn't listen to country at all until I started playing high school baseball. But my coach, he controlled the music for our practices. And, this was like 2015 was when he started playing music. And I was like, man, I really like this song. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go listen to some more from this artist. And before you know it, I was into country music. So
what was the genre you're into before all that? Hip hop?
Yeah, like kind of just what everybody was into, like rap, hip hop, like, I really enjoyed like the 2000s, like rock-ish era, like dad rock was kind of my thing. Daughtry, Three Doors Down, a little bit of Creed. Joe Rexroad would be so disappointed in some of the bands, but like
Green Day.
Yeah, Green Day, love Green Day, All American Rejects. Like those were that was kind of my taste growing up. And
I could so see that with you.
Yeah, that was what my parents listened to for the most part.
Yeah. Well, that's what my music, like I listen to a lot of older stuff because that's what my parents listened to. And I think it's flat out better than today's music. And then you get into like modern country, which is pretty hit or miss, but when it hits, it hits. And then, I love my, Bruno Mars and stuff like that. So,
You know who I've rediscovered lately who just has so many good songs? The Script.
The Script. Never heard.
You've
Hall of Fame. That's
don't bring Hall of Fame is not the first song to bring up when you're talking about The Script.
Yes, it is.
The Man Who Can't Be Moved, Nothing, For the First Time, Break Even.
I'm sure if I heard the lyrics, I'd probably
we'll have to play something for you.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame is probably their most popular song.
Sure.
It was what Will I Am was on that with them.
Yeah. It was the biggest song in 2010.
Yeah,
on the basketball court.
I'm not a huge fan of that one, but like their old stuff, "The Man Who Can't Be Moved" is one of the best songs, one of my favorite songs ever.
Okay. I'm sure if I heard it, I'd recognize it, but okay, good to know.
615-737-1025.
Full support, by the way.
We will get back into sports on the other side. Pekka Rinne going to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. We'll talk about it. And also get ready for the NHL draft coming up on Friday. All of that coming up here in hour number 2. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Nick Frazier with you on this Tuesday. We're getting so many texts with no skip albums on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at 102.5 The Game for live shows and exclusive content. We're monitoring the chat there as well. I'll read these off quickly, and then we will get back into actual sports topics here. 7636 says, albums with no misses, Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf, Gojira, From Mars to Sirius, and Amon Amarth, The Avenger. I don't
Is
know
that
if
Adam?
it could be.
That's all heavy metal right there.
I was going to say, like, I'm not a huge fan of any of those, but again, it's to each their own. Everybody's got their own taste. Chad says License to Ill, the Beastie Boys, Californication, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Evil Empire, Rage Against the Machine. Halcyon says by Ellie Goulding. Man, that's kind of a twist from the previous three. Man on the Moon, Kid Cudi, and Recovery by Eminem.
That Kid Cudi album, top notch.
Yeah, that's like the rap I can get into.
And then we got one more from Stephanie. Says Joshua Tree by U2. I've never heard of this one. Violator by Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode.
I was going to say I've never heard of it. And then Document by REM.
So that's all 80s stuff.
I like me some REM. Yeah, REM. Was REM 80s or 90s?
80s.
Late 80s.
Really?
Yeah. I double check on that one, but I'm sure it was 80s.
I mean, I'm sure they kind of there's probably from both, but anyway.
Yeah, 80s.
80s. Okay. Let's get into Pekka Rinne being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. It was announced yesterday, and it was so funny that I don't know if you heard like Robbie Rexroad having a conversation of whether he deserved a statue yesterday morning, and then later on that afternoon, they announced that he's going into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And congratulations to Pekka. I believe I saw he'll be the 4th Finnish player ever to reach the Hockey Hall of Fame. So, obviously 15-year career here in Nashville, got the Predators to their only Stanley Cup final, Vezina winner in 2018. Really cool to see that he's going to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame along with 5 others.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. David Poile, Shea Weber, now Pekka Rinne. If you go back and look at the Golden Hall, when that was what the induction was last year, the year before, and it was Pekka Rinne and Shea Weber getting the Golden Jackets along with David Poile. So now all 3 of them can be looked at and enshrined into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So kudos to them. Congratulations to Pekka. That's pretty cool. And the fact that you're a 4-time All-Star and just many more accolades to fall behind that. You have your own statue now. It's just so cool.
Right. And Pekka, greatest Pred ever. I feel like that. I mean, Shea Weber, obviously, in the conversation. I think Roman Josi, by the time he's done, in the conversation. But I think there's something special about Pekka and what he was able to do here. Obviously, didn't win a championship. And I know there are people that I've seen on the text line who say, he didn't win a title. He doesn't deserve the statue. That should be reserved for people who bring a championship to the city. I view it as relative. Like, yes, you should have standards for what you allow to be honored in your organization. But, and sure, if Pekka had the same career in Chicago or Boston, would they build a statue outside the arena for him? Probably not. But I think it has to be relative based on what was important to your franchise and what happened in your history. And Pekka, obviously, such a huge part of why the Predators were able to rise to being a Stanley Cup contender and winning the President's Trophy in 2018. So I think he deserves the statue. Now, can you keep building statues every time you have a legend like that? Probably not. The pavilion's only so big. Does Weber deserve a statue? I don't know. Josi, by the time he's done, maybe.
I think 20, 30 years down the line, we'll see a David Poile statue, maybe.
Yeah, but it's like, how many statues can you build?
Phil Tomasino needs a statue immediately.
Or Rocco Grimaldi. Hey, easy now.
Wayne Simmons.
There you go.
Preds
Wayne
legend.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody that has been on the payroll for a while. Why not a Kyle Turris statue?
Yeah.
Just put that out there out front.
Right next to the Matt Duchene statue.
We've paid him enough, right? Might as well put a statue out there. No, I don't know if there will ever be another Preds statue out front. It's tough because what Pekka did in the community, along with what he did on the ice, it's tough to follow up with that. And again, that's a rare breed of an athlete.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays, again, I could be wrong about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but athletes nowadays, regardless of the sport, hockey, baseball, football, whatever, sure, they do stuff in the community, but not to the degree of Pecorine, where to me, from what I've gathered and what I've seen with my own two eyes, it's building relationships in the community and sticking with that. You go back and look at the early 2000s, 2010s Tennessee Titans, those players are still somewhat involved with the community nowadays.
Yeah.
You look at, here in the building, Derek Mason, a guy that's involved with the community.
Right.
Chris Sanders, an NBA football coach, track coach. He's involved with the community. I think, and rest in peace, Frank Wachek was involved with the community as well. So there are a lot more that I could list off, but those are some that come to mind.
No, that's a good point where Nashville, and again, having not been in every other pro city, I just feel like the athletes who come here, they stick around, and they are Nashvillians for life after they play here. You see that with so many Titans, so many Preds that stick around after. So I think that's a good point too. With and Craig on the text line says Shea Weber is the best player in Preds history. Pekka is a close second. I think there's a debate, right? Like, and maybe Shea gets a statue at some point too. Would you stack up the best Preds, whether it's Weber or Pekka, against anybody else in Nashville sports history? Like, I'm trying to think, because there was after Hani Mukhtar had the hat trick
Correct.
the other week. I saw some Nashville SC fans saying Hani might be the greatest athlete in Nashville history, and I think that's a stretch.
Yeah.
But Pekka, I think there's a conversation there. If he's the greatest Pred, I think I'd stack him up against any Titan. Like, what, McNair? Would he be the only other one that you'd put up there? Derrick Henry?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That really is a tough one, because I think the way people describe Steve McNair and the way he played for the Tennessee Titans, yes, he didn't spend his entire career with the two-tone blue.
Yeah.
And some was in Baltimore. That's a really good question.
I mean, I think it's like similar accolades for McNair and Pecorine in their times here.
Yes.
Both got their team to a championship round, but could not finish and win the title. Both won the Vezina's not the MVP, but it's best goalie in the league. Steve McNair won co-MVP. Like, I think it's similar. I don't know who you would go with there.
I would lean Pecorine in this sense. He was drafted in a round that's no longer involved in the NHL draft at all.
Yeah.
And I think to defy all the odds and say, hey, I'm going to be one of the best goaltenders of my class along with my generation, that says a lot for me. And I'm not discrediting the work that, Steve McNair put on the field, because I'm sure if you ask Derek Mason that same question, he's going to lean the other way. One, because it was firsthand experience for him.
Yeah.
So that's a tough answer there. I really don't want to pick one or the other, but if I do, I'll slide with Pekka.
Yeah, I think that's the debate for me, is those two. And I think I lean Pekka over Weber. And as somebody who didn't grow up around here, I followed the Predators from afar.
Sure.
You guys might have a better idea one way or the other. I think I'd lean Pekka there. I would also lean McNair over Henry, just because quarterback, got the team to a Super Bowl. Derrick Henry, I think Derrick's second among all-time Titans players. Unless I'm forgetting some. Like, I think Derrick, of course, I think he surpassed Eddie.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Let me relate it to today's day and age. Say the Titans have some success, and kind of reverting to football a little bit. Say the Titans have some success with this current roster. Say Jeffrey Simmons wins a Super Bowl with this Tennessee Titans team. Where does he go in this conversation?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he is a Titan through and through.
I asked Parker yesterday, like, if Jeffrey Simmons, because we had a texter say, I think it was 4312, said Jeffrey Simmons could be a top 3 Titan of all time by the time he's done. And sure, I think there's a path to that.
Right.
But it's a narrow path. I don't think it's likely. I asked, if Jeffrey Simmons retired right now, would he be in the Titans Ring of Honor?
No.
I lean, I think it's 50-50, right? Like I said, Parker and I both kind of went, yes, but I don't think he's done enough right now to do it. Now he has 5 more years to try and add to that resume. And I think by the time he's done, he will be a Ring of Honor type guy.
Sure.
But to be top 3 of all time, to join that, Eddie, Steve, Derrick Henry kind of conversation, you're going to have probably 2 more 10-sack seasons and take the team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning there as well, because if you look back at, Jeffrey Simmons, and it was the conversation that everybody had, even, some people here in this building probably thought he wasn't a true leader for this team. Nonetheless, he didn't really show the production on the field as well. And some people questioned the second extension he got. Not that they're the second one, like, is this truly fair to give to a guy like that? I think that's where, I hesitate to say he's in the elites of the elites for Titans history.
Yeah, I think it's a really tough question when you combine all the sports in town of like who is the best pro athlete in Nashville sports history.
Now, currently, best Nashville pro sports athlete, I'd say Hani Mukhtar. Currently.
Over Yossi?
Yes.
Are you saying like currently what they're capable of at this very moment? Correct. Or like resume?
At this moment.
I'd go Simmons in that department.
At this moment,
man, that's tough. Mukhtar. So again, we're taking the past out of it. Like if you're just picking best current player right now in terms of performance.
If I can include that U.S. Open Cup run, yes, I would say Hani Mukhtar.
I mean, yeah, Hani would be up there. Yossi's on the back end of his career, so right, like I don't know if
still a productive
player, but I don't think I'd say any of the Preds players that you have right now are like the elite players in their sport.
I would go Philip Forsberg.
Forsberg's good, but Forsberg's not like
I know, not elite of the elites.
Right. I think Simmons or Mukhtar right now, just in terms of performance. But if you're talking about like resume of like who's the greatest active athlete, I think it would be probably Yossi.
Yes.
Well, Hani's an MVP.
2-3-time MVP, I believe.
2 or 3-time MVP.
Yeah.
I knew he won at least one. I didn't know that.
Golden Boot winner as well.
Okay, maybe it is Hani.
But right now, I would go Simmons.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hani Mukhtar is resume 2022 MLS MVP, 2022 MLS Golden Boot winner, MLS best starting 11, 21, 22, and 23, U.S. Open Cup champion in 2025. So, yeah, and he got 48%.
So he is only a one-time MVP.
Yeah, one time.
Okay.
Golden Boot in MLS the same year. That's what I got mixed up.
Gotcha. I think there'd be an argument there. But in terms of who the greatest Nashville pro athlete ever is, I would settle it down to Pekka and Steve. And I think you could hear an argument both ways.
Interesting.
Let's see. We got some texts on this. 615-737-1025. Craig makes a good point saying he's a Nashville native and he feels most Nashville natives who have followed the Preds will say Weber. People newer to the city will say Pekka. And that's true. I was not like locked in on their career. I watched a decent amount of Preds hockey growing up.
Yeah.
Being a big Titans fan, I always had the Preds in my periphery. But yeah, for you guys have been here the entire time. You know more than I would. Chip from Mount Juliet says there could be an argument for Derrick Henry because he could be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Steve McNair isn't. That's fair too. It's different positions though. I think impact on the city is probably what I would base this around the most, of like Steve McNair in 99, first year in the new stadium, helped lead that team to a Super Bowl and almost won it.
I think it's connections to the sport too.
Yeah.
Frazier is a huge soccer fan, so he is more close to Nashville SC and that organization, so he's more inclined to say that. You and I aren't as big soccer fans as he is, but we're massive football fans. And that's not to say he's not either, but we are more inclined to say Jeffrey Simmons right now, just because we're more familiar with
him. That's fair. And we've got a couple people on the text line saying you can't put soccer over hockey or football just because the city.
Well, I rebuttal with this. For the point of we're talking about Jeffrey Simmons, rookie year being what, 2019? Hani Mukhtar's rookie season with Nashville, he was 2020. Okay. That's around the same time frame, and they're still playing with this same team. So the fact that the texture, let's see, I'll put it out there, 4312 saying, I'm sorry, but I cannot rate soccer play over hockey or football. I could get hockey, but football, I get stats are hard to go back and forth with, but to equate the resume to one another and just go back and forth, I think it's a honorable conversation to have.
Yeah, and I think it's just when you look around this city, obviously Nashville SC has a very good fan base, but widespread, most people around here know what the Titans are doing and follow the Titans and know their players. I would say a little bit below that, the Preds, and then below that would be soccer.
I agree. No, I agree 100%.
Impact on the city, I don't know if I'd put Hani in there, but if you're talking about just pure, like, who is the most talented player in the city at their sport, there's an argument there.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with resume on the field at the moment.
615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on this on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Much more to get to on the show. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. Connor, I don't know if you saw his text earlier, but Dustin from Hopkinsville is going to be very happy.
Did he request this song?
He did. He texted, he said, "Can't believe y'all never used Talkin' Tennessee for the show."
This is my favorite.
So there you go.
Song. This is good stuff.
This is up there for me too.
It's a deep cut. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get the recognition it deserves.
Right. I would put this over some of the more popular songs
I
that
agree.
he's had. I hate Last Night. That's my least favorite song of Morgan Wallen's. And somehow it's his most popular song.
The most overplayed song he's ever had, and I don't think it's that good to begin with.
Neon Star is a good one, by the way.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Okay.
Spin You Round. That's a good one. That's like post The Voice for Morgan
The
Wallen.
acoustic version
Yeah.
is better.
Yeah, he opened up for FGL.
Yeah. Wait, man, that was what, like 2017, 2018?
Yeah. Look at us going back in the time machine.
We're dating ourselves here. We're old men.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what everyone out there is thinking right now. We were asking the question of who is the greatest Nashville pro athlete ever. And we've gotten some answers here that there's mixed opinions, as there are on any topic like this. 8395 says, Nashville native here. Steve was such a baller to watch, but sometimes I feel like Eddie gets upstaged, and dude, Eddie was a freak. I agree with you. Like Eddie George, it's Mount Rushmore season. I think he's probably on the Mount Rushmore of Titans players of all time.
Eddie George,
like, I think it's Steve, Derek, then Eddie, and then, pick your poison for the fourth one.
Yeah, I guess you could say so. I mean,
Who else?
Frank.
Not really.
Yeah.
Frank Wachek, yeah.
I think he's in the conversation.
Delaney.
Really? Delaney only went to the playoffs once.
Bullock.
Mr. Monday Night.
Yeah, like Bullock would be a good one.
Curse.
You could add
the
KB
freak
in there as well.
Yeah, Kevin Byard should be in the conversation.
Like if we're talking about a player that did a lot for the community, Kevin Byard's one of them.
Yeah,
like, you can't discredit that.
No, I think Eddie, Derek, Steve, that's your three. And then, I think you could take answers on the fourth one, and there aren't really wrong ones. Let's see. Chad says, I do feel it's a bit unfair to Weber hearing people act like Rene is the only homegrown Hall of Famer. It's not like Weber forced his way out or chose to leave. No, that's true. And I think if there's an argument to build a statue for Pekka, there's probably an argument for Shea too.
Yeah.
And maybe that happens at some point. There's definitely still time to make that happen.
And maybe you could give credit to Shea Weber in this case, because without that trade for PK Subban, this team probably doesn't go to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't. So I guess you could accredit Shea Weber for that trade in a roundabout way. I don't really know how to say yes to that. But.
Yeah. 4419 says all-time greatest Tennessee athlete, and you're not going to include Bruce Matthews from the Titans in that group. Now that Bruce Matthews, part of the offensive line group early on that made those teams so great. He says he was a plug-and-play guy at any position across the line for many years. In my opinion, Jeffrey Simmons has to beat Bruce Matthews to even be considered. No, and I agree. That's why I said the path for Jeffrey Simmons to be a top 3 Titan of all time would have to mean multiple double-digit sack seasons from here on out, and probably a trip to the Super Bowl to even put you in that conversation. Maybe not Myles Garrett numbers because they play a different position.
Sure.
But like he doesn't need to put up 20 sacks. But if he has 3 straight seasons where he's in the 11, 12, 13 range and the team is making deep playoff runs, then yeah, maybe there's a path. But I think that sounds pretty unlikely that he's going to keep up that production for, the next 4 or 5 years that he's on this team.
Plus, if his snap count gets reduced, you never know as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? 3555 talking about Mukhtar. He says he's never played in the World Cup. Totally irrelevant player compared to the best soccer players in the world. I get what you're saying, but soccer is such a different sport than hockey or football, where the MLS is what, the 6th or 7th best league in the world?
Yeah.
And the NFL and the NHL are the 2 best. We're talking impact in Nashville.
And wait a minute. Can we kind of
Pekka never played in the Olympics.
I was about to say, did Pekka ever play in the Olympics? No, he didn't play for his nation in the Olympics.
Did he not?
No, that's a top tier, talent as well. I mean, that's something to bring up as well. I mean, look, I get Hani Mukhtar is a MLS soccer player. I get that the MLS does not get the right, I guess the right respect it should. Okay, I get all that. Hani Mukhtar has multiple nationalities. Could play for the U.S., could play for Germany. I believe could play for Jordan or the UAE, one of the two, something like that. He's a tri-nationality, triple nationality. Yeah. So, like, he has the opportunity to play for multiple countries if he wants to.
I guess the question is, why isn't he?
Because there's, I would say, better options for those teams. I'm saying he could be an alternate for sure. It's the coach and the system. I think he fits well in a system as as a true number 10, as an attacking midfielder that kind of meshes the midfield and the forwards together. It's just they don't really have that right now for the U.S. team. And that's really Weston McKennie, a guy that's evolved from a box-to-box to more of an attacking role midfielder. So that's just where I stand on that. But no, I mean, it's a valid point in the text line. But again, if we're going to call that out, let's call it Pecorine not playing in the Olympics as well.
Yeah. And no, it's a fun conversation to have here with Nashville. Has a lot of really great athletes who have played here.
Sure.
But there's no one who like stands above everybody else, right? Yeah. Like I think a lot of other cities you can look around and you can say, oh yeah, like we've had some good players, but that guy was number one. Like he was the best athlete we've had in this city. With Nashville, I think there's a lot of those guys, but no one's brought a championship here. And they're like Pekka was elite at times. Steve McNair was elite at times, but hasn't been anybody who was like, that was the best player in the world for half a decade.
Yeah. That's fair.
So we'll see. Maybe eventually that happens.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to, come on these airways and say Hani Mukhtar is the best player ever to come through the state lines of Tennessee. No, I'm just saying, give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
That guy's had to put together a pretty good resume along with Nashville SC. And again, yes, the club is still pretty young in their, I guess, birth of the MLS, but still, that's just something you have to bring up.
4312 is his rebuttal is if we're talking impact on the city, then I don't think there is a soccer player even in the top 100 Nashville players. Like, be honest, who on the text line or YouTube chat has mentioned a soccer player?
That's fair.
Top 100 is probably big.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if we go about players in the community, a former Nashville SC player, Taylor Washington, that guy's always helping out with the young kids, either if it's Children's Hospital or doing a food drive or something like that.
But I guess impact on the city for me isn't as much about that. Like it can play a role.
Sure.
For me, it's more about the
championships.
Like jersey sales isn't everything, but it's like how many jerseys of Derrick Henry do you see walking around Nashville?
Very
it's like
true.
That's everybody loved Derrick Henry, and he was the king of this city for years. I think you could say the same thing with like Pekka and Shea Weber during the high point of the Preds franchise. Like I will say, like, yes, I think soccer top
still
100,
young.
Top 100 is probably a stretch. I would say you put Hani in the top 100 for sure. But I agree, probably not top.
It's on the back end of that top 100. I agree. I'm not saying disagreeing with that text at all, but I'm just saying just give a little credit when credit's due. That's all I'm saying.
One point that people have talked about with the Olympics is that they weren't taking NHL players all of those years. So like there were times that he probably would have played in the Olympics, but it wasn't allowed.
Right.
Where do we put coaches in this conversation?
Yeah, coaches. I don't know.
Like, where is Barry? Where is Jeff Fisher? Where's Mike Vrabel?
I'd put Fisher probably above the rest of them. I mean, just because they went to the Super Bowl and he was here for so long.
Would you put Laviolette in that conversation? They went to a cup.
I'd probably put him kind of in the Vrabel. Maybe like just a step above Vrabel because he did break through and get to the Stanley Cup Finals. But
I would go Fisher, Trotz, Laviolette, Vrabel.
I agree. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, there's similarities to all, like Fisher and Trotz. I think there are similarities to them of like they brought the team, like they were the first coach here in the city and they had success,
right?
But obviously never won the championship. Laviolette, though, did make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but
And I think if you guys have I know both of you already know this outside of radio, but for the listeners out there should probably recognize loyalty for me is a huge thing. So Jeff Fisher and Barry Trotz, for two franchises, and I'm not saying loyalty towards me, I'm just saying in general the fans here in the market.
Yeah.
But when you are coming into a city that does not know what really football and or hockey is, to really try to expand that brand, you're as a head coach and also players are kind of forced in a roundabout way to really go into the community. For me, that's a huge, like if you're going into the community and being involved that way, hands down, you've won. You've won at life.
Yeah.
That's how I view these franchises. And when you have these older players that played in the 2000s and the 2010s, and they've been incorporated into the market for all that type of stuff, that's how I remember things that way.
Yeah.
Like the Jeff Fisher show was at O'Charlie's in Brentwood. I remember that.
Yeah.
My parents would get me out of school at 2:30 and we'd go down there at 4:30, eat some food and listen to Jeff Fisher for like 2 hours. It was like fantastic. I think that's something that a lot of old Titans fans and old Preds fans
Yeah.
remember from this market, because that's what made these teams so great and memorable.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. A couple texts here to wrap up this conversation. David Big Rock says Mookie Betts and Wilmer Rudolph. We're talking, yes, impactful on Nashville,
Sure.
but we're talking about played for the Nashville pro sports teams. That was the conversation here. We'll finish with this one. Josh in Lebanon says, native Tennessean, not a Titans fan. I would take Pekka over Shea as best Pred and Pekka over Steve as best athlete. Similar comparisons for accolades. Getting elected to your Sports Hall of Fame, that's what puts Pekka over Steve. So
Sure.
I think that's the argument. Is it Pekka or Steve is the greatest pro sports Nashville athlete? And I think there's an argument both ways. I'll lean Pekka. I will lean Pekka, especially after yesterday's announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. And to the texture out there, it's kind of basically putting comparisons of Pekka and Mukhtar. That's not what the comparison was. The comparison was originally Jeffrey Simmons and Hani Mukhtar.
Yeah.
So just stating that fact for a
Right.
second. Because if somebody goes back and listens to it and says, "Oh my goodness, Frazier comparing Mukhtar to Pekka," no, that's not the case at all.
No, the conversation you brought up was best current athlete at their current stage in their career,
and
not all time.
Right. And the resume kind of reflected the same timeline, because 2019, 2020, so forth. That's it.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll wrap up hour number 2 after this. We'll continue to take your reaction as well. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newton, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Finishing up the second hour. It's been a good conversation. Lots of interaction on the text line about who the greatest athlete in Nashville pro sports history is. We kind of came down to it's Pecorine or it's Steve McNair. Others in the periphery, but those are the two that stand out. A couple of texts I wanted to get to wrap up this conversation. 0667 says, you also got to count Jeff Fisher with his impact on arena football with the Cats up in Clarksville this weekend. I saw it was a crazy game last week against Albany. Yeah, because that was a rematch of the championship last year.
I believe it's for the number 1 seed as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Go Cats, claws out.
Claws out. Matt Kolka out here, man. Just tossing the rock.
Yeah.
Tyler
Kolka.
Tyler Kolka.
Kolkamania.
Kolkamania, yeah. What did I say? Matt Kolka? My bad.
Tyler Kolka.
Tyler Kolka.
Who's Matt Kolka?
I don't know. I saw Matt. I don't know why I saw Matt.
Was that who you ran into at Target today?
Yeah.
No, who I ran into at Target was something else. My goodness. Can't explain that one on the air. That's, woo. I'm telling you, if you want to see a fun little atmosphere at 8 a.m., go to Target.
Yeah.
You're in for a fun ride.
Craig on the text line makes a good point, too. If we are looking at who fostered a sport and taught the city about hockey, Pete Weber and Terry Crisp are 1A and 1B, heads above everyone else. Agreed with that. Those two guys, again, not players, so different conversation. But in terms of like impact on the city and the love of hockey here, yeah, Pete Weber, Terry Crisp have to be towards the top of that conversation.
As I was telling you in the break, the narration of my childhood was Pete Weber and Terry
Yep.
Crisp. Like that was the fun of hockey in Nashville in the early 2000s for me. And I know hockey broadcasts have evolved throughout the years. When the TV broadcast started to have, what was it, Pete Weber, and then it was Terry Crisp, and I think Willie can help me out with it. But the timelines are all interesting because then Stu Grimson came into the TV broadcast, then he kind of evolved out of it, and then it became Chris Mason. Then you had Hal Gill, and there was just a revolving door,
a web.
Yeah, and just the radio broadcasts always say tried and true, and now you guys can listen to that on 102.5 Game.
Of course,
every fall.
Yeah,
Pete Weber,
every game. Pete Weber, Max Hers, Hal Gill,
Max,
Jay Moore.
Yeah. Jay,
it's a great group.
I keep forgetting about Jay Moore. He's the woodworker of the group, man.
He is.
That's an OG Pred right there.
I know. I just saw Jay not too long ago, funny enough. I was walking down. It was the week of CMA Fest.
Just talk to him about woodworking for an hour?
We did, actually.
Was he down there on Broadway?
No, it was there for the introduction of Chris McFarland.
Gotcha.
The introductory press conference. So
right, yes, you were over there with Jason Joe.
Oh, hey there.
Yeah,
we
were chatting back and forth about fire mantles, like the mantles you put over a fireplace. It's like, what kind of oak you got rolling? Yeah, a little nice oak, got some cherry wood. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. So,
I thought it was like walking over the pedestrian bridge. Oh, you're going to see Ella Langley too?
No.
That got a little Irish on me.
It did, a little Irish.
Laddie.
Yeah.
Well, the Scots have taken over all of Boston. They've taken over every place, by the way.
Yeah, they're in Miami right now.
Somewhere in Nashville last week.
Yes, yeah. Nashville has been like a pit stop for a lot of these international fan bases.
Just admiring that beautiful stadium across the river.
Just a gorgeous Nissan Stadium. Not the new one, the current one. Speaking of Chris McFarland, big week for him. NHL draft coming up on Friday. I wanted to get more into this. Maybe we'll do this with Corey tomorrow. But I think it's going to be really fun to see what Chris McFarland does in his first draft. Now, you're picking 10th. You're not going to get somebody who's going to immediately be a catalyst for this team and immediately help at the NHL level. But I do think with the amount of picks that he has at his disposal, you could see some moving around, and you hopefully are able to build upon what is a strong farm system already with what you have at 10, I believe 2 in the second round, and now 2 in the third round after trading away the pick for Ross Colton.
Yeah, and it's interesting looking at some of these, mock drafts or predictions. The Athletic has one out for the Nashville Predators, and I believe there are 2 names here. It's Daxon Rudolph and Prince. No, is that the team? Prince Albert?
Yeah, Prince Albert. Yeah, that's the team.
It's like, wait a minute. We got royalty on the team now? Wait, what's going
Your
on?
Highness.
Daxon Rudolph. So,
yes, okay. Defenseman.
Right-handed defenseman.
Yeah, I was looking at some mock drafts, and it seems like the top 5 picks are kind of set in one order or another. McKenna's going to go number 1, most likely. Stenberg, probably number 2, although I saw the Sharks could trade that pick. We'll see. Caleb Malhotra, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Carson Carrolls and Chase Reed. Those are the 5 that I've seen at the top in most of the mock drafts. But as you get further down the board, as it is in any draft, there's a lot more variation of ways it could go. But at 10, you're going to get a decent player. We saw at number 10 with Chris McFarland. Now he was the assistant GM in Colorado. They got Mikko Rantanen in his first year. The next year at number 10, they took Tyson Jost. So, it can go any direction with that pick.
It's a matter of a coin flip in a roundabout way. I mean, after 5, like you're saying, it's kind of a toss up. I mean,
yeah,
not much is really going to happen with that 10th overall pick because you're going to have to wait 2-3 years for those players to truly develop, I would say.
Yeah, you're not getting somebody who is going to help the team immediately, but you hope 2027 into 2028 that's going to be a future piece of this core, along with your guys like Martin, like Molendyke. Surin will probably be coming over at that point. So another person to add to that next wave of young talent coming through the system.
I think with Chris McFarland, we're going to, I guess, get a better grasp of the direction. And I'm not saying Barry Trotz's direction was gray area at all, but like it was mix the young with the old and see if you can win now with the old. I get all that. But with the younger players developing through Milwaukee and also in the lower stages of professional hockey, I think we're going to start seeing more of that wave now, which is, to me, a comforting feeling if you're a Preds fan.
Yep, and I think there's a lot of optimism around Chris McFarland. Again, I keep referencing Adam Vingan's Preds offseason poll that he did a couple of weeks ago. 60% of Preds fans said they were optimistic about the direction of this team. A lot of that has to do with Chris McFarland, and we will see on Friday what he's able to do. And you can follow along with coverage right here on 102.5 The Game on Friday night. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We got 1 hour left on this Tuesday. I'm going to talk some college football coming up next. Every year, the college football video game releases their top atmospheres in college football. I want to go through this. Neyland Stadium is up there for Tennessee. I want to know, for Vols fans out there, do you think it's too high, too low? We'll talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Final hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. This is always a fun week because I said it to Andrew yesterday when he was on, of when the college football video game comes out, that's when you know you're starting to get close to college football season actually being here. And this week is when they do all of the rankings releases. I want to talk about the atmospheres because Neyland Stadium was listed as the 8th hardest place to play in the country. I want to know from Vols fans, too high, too low. We'll go through that. But they did just release the top 10 teams. Quickly, we're going to play the feud here with you guys. See if you guys can guess them. All right. Top 10 answers on the board. We'll let Nick start. You're going to go back and forth. And then once you get 3 strikes, I'll just read them off. Go ahead. Who is one of the top 10 teams in college football this year?
Ohio State.
Ohio State, the number 2 answer on the board. I'm going to give you points based on what level you get.
Okay.
So, lower answers get you more points. Connor.
Texas,
the number 5 team in the country.
Really?
Yeah. Lower than I would have thought. There you go. All right. Nick.
Georgia
is the number 9 team in the country.
More points. All right.
Nick leads 11-5. Connor.
let's go Oregon.
Oregon, the number 1 team in the country. That one surprised me.
Number 1?
Yep.
You said?
The Ducks are the number 1 team in the country, according to EA College Football.
Good get, Connor. Good
There
get.
you go. LSU.
LSU is number 7. You guys are 5 for 5 so far.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is number 8. Well done,
Whoa.
Connor. All right, you've got 4 answers left.
Okay. Let's go with Alabama.
There's your first strike. Connor?
We'll go with the defending national champions. Indiana.
Correct. Indiana's number 3. 3 to go. Miami is the number 6 team in the country.
Okay.
You got 2 more. Number 4 and number 10.
Texas Tech.
All right, you got 1 strike left as a group.
Notre Dame,
the number 4 team in the
There we
country. Nick has already won, but you can make it a 1-point game, Connor, if you can guess the number 10 team in the country.
Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead to 43. Okay, let's think here. Probably not an SEC team. It's an SEC team.
It is an SEC team.
Let's see here.
Because it has no bearing on the decision, I'll give you that help.
Okay, so it's not Alabama.
Nope.
It's not LSU.
Nope.
I already said
I
that.
think it's an oil state.
Oklahoma.
The Sooners,
There we go.
the national champions in baseball, are the number 10 team in the country. So well done. You guys got all 10 of them. That Oregon being 1 kind of surprised me, but I think overall that's a pretty good list. Texas Tech and Alabama, the 2 that you guys guessed that weren't on there, I would say probably are pretty close behind.
Yeah, like 11 or 12.
They did release the full rankings. I think Tennessee is an 85 overall and Vanderbilt's an 81.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that in one of the breaks. Vandy being a team up there, finally they're getting respected on the rankings.
They got their traditions in there now, too.
Vanderbilt's an 81, and if I can find Tennessee, they might be 5. There they are. Yes, an 85. So there you go. Those are your rankings for the teams. But there was the rankings yesterday for the atmospheres, which I think is always a fun exercise of what are the toughest stadiums to play in college football? Because that's a large reason why we love college football is the raucous atmospheres that you get, especially here in the SEC. Number 8, Neyland, which I think you can make an argument it's a little bit too low. The teams above them, LSU, Tiger Stadium, Death Valley, I think that's a deserving number 1.
Undisputed number 1.
Like, I don't think anyone's really going to argue with that. I would argue with the Horseshoe Ohio Stadium being number 2. I think that's too high. Yeah.
I would go with another Big Ten team over them.
Beaver Stadium's number 3.
Yep.
Penn State. I think that would be higher for me than Ohio State. And then you've got Sanford Stadium at Georgia, Bryant-Denny, Alabama. Both good atmospheres, but I think on the right night, Neyland could be a tougher place to play.
Where's Kyle Field?
Kyle Field's 10.
Really?
Yep.
I have a video that would say otherwise.
Kyle Field, I mean, you can pack a ridiculous amount of people in there. But yes, Neyland is 8th. The other teams in front of them, Autzen at Oregon, that's a tough place to go win. And then the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville is number 7.
Yeah, that's a respectable number 7. We'll see what happens this year. We all know Mississippi State's not anywhere in the.
They're
I bet you they're
25.
ranked.
25.
Yep.
All right, respectable.
They're 25 with their artificial noisemakers.
Why the hell is Kroger Field not number 1? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, Kroger Field did not make the top 25.
Just missed it, I'm sure.
Lane Stadium, number 22.
Look at that.
Enter Sandman carrying so much water.
I got a question for you at the 11:30 segment?
Okay.
Yeah, or 11:45.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold it for a while.
All right, sounds good.
It just hit my brain.
We'll
Sorry.
wait for that.
Yeah.
What do we think? Do you think Neyland should be higher? I think
it should be lower.
Really, you think it's lower?
I think 8 is too high.
I think Neyland. Again, I'm a Vandy guy, but night game in Neyland against a big opponent, that is a really tough place to go into with the atmosphere. I think I might go Neyland over at least 2 of the other SEC teams in front of them. LSU, again, undisputed number 1, but I think there's an argument Tennessee could be better than Georgia, Alabama, or Florida.
I'll meet you in the middle. I think it should be right where they are.
Okay, you think 8's good?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I would probably say 5 or 6.
See, here's the issue I have is Tennessee is a 8-4 team at best.
But
that plays a factor into it. Because if I were to not bite my biased tongue, I'd say Mississippi State hands down is one of the best atmospheres in college football. Like one of the most chaotic in all of college football. You go back and look at it against Arizona State last year. That was one of the greatest games I've seen in a long, long time. It had me bought in.
Well, it plays a role because the question here is not it's not a ranking of the best atmospheres. It's the toughest places to play. So yes, winning at home is a big part of it. That's why I think you see Ohio State up there, because even if Dr. Locke's going to call in, but when I watch Ohio State games at the Horseshoe, I'm never in awe of the crowd. I think maybe it's SEC bias. I think the SEC games it's just watching a game in Knoxville or College Station, or even like Williams-Brice Stadium in South Carolina is 16, excuse me. That's a really good team.
Sure.
Not a good team, a good place to play.
Yeah. Tough atmosphere for sure. That's why I think Mississippi State's one of the toughest atmospheres in all of college football. That's why look, yes, it's a cowbell. Yes, it's an artificial noisemaker, whatever. But that is a tradition unlike any other. You can't hear yourself in that stadium. Heck, I've had a cowbell thrown at me before. So, it's one of those atmospheres you just – yeah.
Elaborate.
2013, 2014, when Mississippi State was ranked number 1 in college football when they beat Auburn, that Saturday 3:30 kickoff on CBS. Everybody was celebrating. It started to rain in the fourth quarter, and from the third deck, there was the second deck. Somebody was ringing their cowbell so hard, the bell, little metal ball that was inside of it, came out of the cowbell and hit me in the back of the head. Then in the fourth quarter, when Dak Prescott took the final knee, somebody threw a hot coffee mug, and it hit the backside of my head from the third deck. Luckily, it didn't hit the top of my head. I probably would have died, but it just shattered behind me. I had a big old whelp on the back of my head. Yeah. I have 2 witnesses.
I believe you. That's just bad.
Nate Kitson and my brother. So they definitely know for sure.
Hail State, baby.
You got that right.
Well, talking about these great atmospheres, we'll take a break here, but I want to know, what is a college football stadium that you're dying to get to that you haven't seen yet? We can do that on the other side. What's a bucket list college football atmosphere that you want to get to? 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. We were going through the best atmospheres in college football. Every year, the college football video game ranks the toughest places to play. Neyland Stadium was number 8. We were going through some of the top 25. And I asked the question, what's a bucket list college football game that you want to get to? A stadium that you haven't seen that you have to go experience just once. We'll take your answers on our phone and text line, 615-737-1025. Our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I think Death Valley is number 1 for me. LSU. Like, I think I've got to see a game in that stadium. The other one would be, I think, Penn State. Happy Valley, whiteout, though. It has to be a whiteout. I thought I was going to get to experience it a couple years ago. Virginia Tech and Penn State had a home-and-home scheduled, but the Virginia Tech game in Blacksburg got canceled due to COVID, so they canceled the back end of that too, back up in Happy Valley. So I think those are the two that stand out to me, but there are plenty. There are so many great atmospheres around college football.
Yeah, I was mentioning you in the break. I think Oklahoma State would be a fun one.
Yeah, Stillwater.
They have the paddles. They hit against the pads, whatever that is, and then
Tarps come off there too.
That's right. Tarps go viral, baby.
They started it in like a negative way, and then the Cardinals made it positive.
Exactly. All resorts back to baseball. I think another one I'd like to go to is the Cotton Bowl for just like the Red River rivalry. I think I'd be
yeah.
Because I think that stadium in Dallas that's the only like event they really host is that.
Yeah, outside of like Jerry World, but like, yeah, the Red River rivalry where it's split right down the middle, or is it the world's biggest cocktail party, Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville? It won't be
world's dumbest rivalry name.
It won't be in Jacksonville the next few years though, because they're renovating that stadium. I think they're bouncing it around to some different places.
Yeah. I think they're in Camping World this year.
Yes, that sounds right. And so those kind of rivalry matchups would be up there for me, even though I would prefer campus sites rather than neutral sites. But the ones where they split it right down the middle, I think that's cool. I was saying to you in the break, like the Rose Bowl, maybe not for a UCLA game because it's going to be empty, but like a Rose Bowl game at some point would be awesome.
It'll definitely be empty this year because they're not playing there anymore.
Where are they playing?
SoFi.
They're playing at SoFi?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Are they renovating the Rose Bowl, or did they just want to play at SoFi?
They just want to play in SoFi.
I think
that's horrible.
The numbers for SoFi are not what they should be. So, yeah, trying to get as much money in there as possible.
That's crazy.
That'd be my assumption.
UCLA playing at SoFi. I want to see the explanation for this because UCLA has officially confirmed the Bruins. Oh wait, I'm not going to read the. Oh, okay. UCLA will play their home games at the Rose Bowl this year. Potential move to SoFi Stadium delayed. So they explored the plans to move it, but as of now, they're staying at the Rose Bowl. So I hope that stays the case. Stay in the Rose Bowl. Like SoFi Stadium is a really cool stadium, and the NFL, I'm totally fine with the NFL moving to a more futuristic, modern stadium like we're going to see here in Nashville. But college sports need to stick with tradition. Tradition is what makes college sports so great. Stay in your historic stadiums. Do not move to an NFL stadium just because you can.
That's fair. I'd say that'd be the corporate greed kind of leaking into college sports, right? That'd be the primary reason for all that. But no, yeah. I mean, they all play on natural grass too. Majority of these colleges and universities, they play on the natural grass. That's what the Rose Bowl is, natural grass.
Yep.
So I think, yeah, you're right. It is a beautiful place, and it's kind of like the Cotton Bowl in a roundabout way. That's kind of what I was thinking. If they were all going to move this to SoFi, they'd kind of designate the Rose Bowl just for the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
You know,
there's one more that I thought of that I want to go experience. I know Chase and Joe got to go see this. Wisconsin, jump around.
Yeah.
Because I want to see how it compares to Enter Sandman. It's very different because Enter Sandman, of course, is at the beginning of the game. Wisconsin, this is end of the third quarter is when they do jump around. At least it keeps the fans from leaving. Like that's been the biggest issue in Blacksburg is all of the students, not all of the students, a lot of the students though. It's like, oh, we're going to go to Center Street and tailgate. And then we're going to go walk into the stadium, jump for Enter Sandman, and then we'll leave. Wisconsin, at least it's like that encourages some of those students who may not care about the game as much to stick around for that. I'd like to see how it compares though, because it looks awesome on TV.
Yeah. And I don't know what the atmosphere would be like in comparison because it's more fans in Wisconsin than there is in
Blacksburg. I think so. Tech is like 66,000.
because Wisconsin's like near 70 something, like 70.
It's a big stadium.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Let's see. How much does Camp Randall hold? Camp Randall, 82,000. So yeah,
Okay.
it's significantly more. So that's one of those that's up there for me, that it's not like one of those teams that's consistently good, but I really like to see jump around at Camp Randall.
One of my buddies I played high school ball with, Jeremy Darvin, he's now the defensive coordinator at JP2, Connor Noon.
Hell yeah.
There you go. Now he was telling me when he played at Western, that was the one place that was just deafening. He couldn't really get, anything. He couldn't really do anything per se. Like, it was just so loud, along with the jump around at the beginning of the fourth quarter. He thought it was so cool.
It's just it's what makes college sports so great. You just have all these traditions, and everybody's got their own, but they love it so much. I mean, I'm trying to think of some other ones, like Florida State.
Jeez. Holy
yeah,
cow.
This is a good one too.
There were profanities.
Shipping off to Boston.
There were some profanities about to be said there, Connor.
I was waiting for the
that
right
was scary.
moment just to jump scare you. This is mine for sure. I feel like it's my duty as a Catholic.
Yeah,
to Notre
no,
Dame.
that is true. My dad went to a game up there, and although he said it was the coldest game I think he's ever been to in his life, it's cool to see. Touchdown Jesus, and
I just want to see that campus.
Yeah,
it's beautiful from what I hear.
I was a little disappointed that for the ACC SEC Challenge, home games are great, so I'm glad that Vandy is hosting Notre Dame.
Right.
But it would have been cool to go see Notre Dame too.
Yeah, it would have been pretty neat. What's your both of y'all's thoughts on 11 a.m. kickoffs? Yay, nay?
You need them.
Thank you.
You need them, but I think God's kickoff time is the 2:30 Central Time kick.
Yes.
That is what you want if you are attending a game. Now, if I'm watching a game on TV, I prefer prime time. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Like night game. But if you're going to a game and it's just a normal game, like, Vandy's playing Auburn.
Sure.
2:30 kick. It gives you enough time that you're not home at 11 p.m., but you also don't have to get up to tailgate at 6 a.m. That's the perfect time for a game.
So what about like a Vandy-Arkansas matchup at 11 a.m. at First Bank?
Somebody's got to play at 11 a.m.
Like, I'm in for that. I don't know why people would disagree. I'm in for a Arkansas.
Any game, day or night.
I don't hate an 11 a.m. game.
Okay.
But I think if I'm going to a game as a fan, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern, that's the time I want. But if it's a big game, you want in prime time.
Here's the day, okay? 11 a.m. kickoff, all right? Vandy, Arkansas, just hypothetical here. You get up at 5:30, get the Blackstone rolling, get breakfast all out there, tailgate. You're done by about 9:45, 10 o'clock. Afternoon's wide open. Go, hang out with your friends, day drink, whatever you want to do. But, 9 p.m., you're in bed. You're watching sports all the way until you fall asleep. That's the day.
See, this is my favorite, and I'm going to get to experience it this year. I'm going back to Blacksburg for one game, and it's a Friday night game, which I think Friday night game, that is my ideal schedule, because get into town Thursday, Friday, tailgate all day, go to the game, and then Saturday you get to enjoy it because you're not having to drive home the next day like you would after a Saturday game. You get to stay, you get to go out, go to some restaurants. See, that it doesn't work for everybody because Saturday is supposed to be for college football, but in terms of traveling to go to a game, I think that's my ideal schedule.
See, I think the most fun is when you're going to a game Saturday night and you're in the car traveling and you're watching the games as you go.
Yeah, if you're doing a day trip.
That's fun.
Yeah, I like that too.
Like we did this, I've done this a couple times. MTSU played at Alabama, so we got student tickets for $20. It was awesome. We rode down there. That was the day Dion upsetted TCU in his first game at Colorado. Kentucky played that day in the morning. They played like, I don't know, Eastern Michigan or someone like that. So that was an easy victory. And then, you get to Bryant-Denny Stadium, which is a mecca, by the way.
Unbelievable.
It is awesome.
Yep.
And then you watch that game. So that's an extreme. That's week one. But I enjoy watching games as you travel because if you feel like you're getting the full experience.
That is cool. That is true. I do enjoy a day trip to a game. Like go up, maybe you spend the night in the hotel that night, but it's like you get to, it's just a full Saturday. If you go to the game and then you come back the next day.
That's fair. Yeah.
Let's go to the phone lines here. Kenny the mailman wants to chime in. Kenny, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hello, good friends. Hey, Dr. Crane, got a little info for you.
Okay. What
Before
you
my
got?
comment. I've been to Mississippi State games, and for their size and for their history, they put on a really, really good show. But it's totally illegal according to SEC standards. You said a minute ago, whatever. It's like, I think it's important to follow rules.
Not always. They pay a fine every home game for it.
Well, paying the fine is one thing. Stopping it is another. Can you imagine going to a Georgia game and them handing out little trumpets before every game? Or going to Tennessee and they go, here, everybody, here's some bongos. It would be totally absurd, which what it is basically when you go to Mississippi State.
That's fair. If I were a Georgia Bulldog, I would go and get, I don't know, some form of like a dog whistle. I mean, maybe do something like that. I mean, if you want to, but I think having cowbells implemented into college athletics, especially for Mississippi State, I think that's exactly what you need. I mean, they do it in baseball. They do it over there at they have it at Davis Wade, but also over at the Dudy Noble. So I think it's needed.
Well, I will say this. Cowbells to me are totally appropriate for Saturday Night Live skits, but not for SEC football.
Well, they're appropriate for third downs as well.
I've got a fever, Kenny.
Yeah, I've been all over, and I'm telling you, I'm not a UT fan, but when they're right and something's on the line, that stadium is beyond. I can't even describe it to you. I didn't take my kids up there when they were teenagers because they would fall in love with it. When the band comes out and they split and make a T, it literally is indescribable. That's why last year's game, Vandy going up there meant so much to me because I'd never really seen Vandy beat them when something was on the line. And for a whole year, not only was Tennessee primed for that game, they said, we're going to shut Pavia up. We're going to carry him out on a stretcher. You heard this and that and this and that. They beat the heck out of them. And what made you even madder, the important college voters after that said, well, that game didn't matter because once they lost, they weren't in the top 20.
Yeah.
It's like, well, UT was in the top 20 before the game. You don't count after the game. So it is what it is. But there's a lot of great places across the South, including Mississippi State. It's just lose the noisemakers.
Thanks for the call, Kenny. We appreciate it. Yeah, we need maybe somebody needs to adopt the vuvuzelas and bring them back for SEC football.
I do own one of those as well.
You have a vuvuzela?
I do.
That was what, 2010? Yeah.
Well, Vandy is not free of blame here either.
Yeah, the Whistler.
You've got a guy who needs to shut his mouth.
Hey, it's not an artificial noisemaker. He's doing it all on his own.
And that's the problem.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Text or call if you have any thoughts. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We got a couple more segments with you. We can keep talking about college football atmospheres if you got anything. I want to get Dr. Crane's thoughts on the World Cup, too, as we get towards the end of the group stage. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. Got a couple more segments with you on your Tuesday. Chasing Big Joe coming up at noon. We do have Dr. Crane on, and whenever Nick Frazier's on the show, I want to use his soccer expertise during the World Cup here. U.S., another big win, and more important, they win the group and do not have to play all their top players on Thursday against Turkey, going to face a third-place team in the round of 32. So great start for the U.S., but obviously still a long way to go to try and make a deep run.
Yeah, it'd be the first time in, I guess, U.S. men's national team history for them to win all three of their games in the group stage. I mean, they've gone undefeated before, but they have not won all of their games and gone undefeated. So that is that'd be an incredible feat for them. And right now, the current live standings of the knockout rounds, United States, after last night's Algeria game, they would be playing Algeria as it stands in the first round of the knockouts.
I did see, so there's some websites have a, as it stands right now, like if there were no more games, this is who it would be. I think The Athletic has a most likely scenario calculator, and Bosnia and Herzegovina is still the most likely for a round of 32 opponent for the U.S. But Egypt and I want to say Czechia is the like two on the other side of that bracket. So the path to the quarterfinals, again, no team is going to be easy to beat once you get past the group stage, but there is a realistic path to see the U.S. reach the quarterfinals for the first time since 2002.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at just that entire run there, and I'm going off the BBC when it comes to their knockout stage as it stands. If the U.S. were to play either Algeria, Egypt, Czech Republic, whatever it may be, their biggest run-in would be Spain.
Spain in the quarterfinals is the expected outcome.
Right. And personally, looking at the way Spain has played, you could probably say everybody's dialed in on Lamine Yamal being the young forward talent. But let's not discredit guys like Orzabal or other players along the lines of their midfield that has really helped out a guy like Lamine Yamal. And that's something that we see in modern day soccer where everybody neglects the grit and grind midfield. And that's something that Spain has always prided themselves on since the early 2000s. You look at the U.S. right now, and again, it's that Pentagon midfield where I didn't even think this was possible with Mauricio Pochettino, but he has unlocked a new form of style with this team, especially with Weston McKennie, playing him in more of an attacking forward / midfield role. I guess it's more like a center attacking mid, but he's still able to drop into the midfield and make those overlapping runs. You've seen, Tillman get involved, Freeman on the right flank, Dest as well as chipped in. That entire right side of the pitch for the U.S. men's national team has been an absolute workforce. And I wonder, with Christian Pulisic not playing against Australia, I would assume that this is a heavily rotated side against Turkey on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Just rest as many players as possible. I don't see Flo Balogun getting the start. I do see Gio Reyna probably getting the start.
Yeah.
I think that's a player that has, seen a new, life with the U.S. men's national team.
Would you be worried? Would you want Pulisic to play a little bit on Thursday night?
No.
Any worry about rust or anything like that? Having not played, it'll be almost 3 weeks by the time you would be back on the field?
I have no issues.
Okay.
Yeah. The only reason why I say it in full confidence is because he's done that at the club level with AC Milan.
Okay.
AC Milan missed him a little bit of time. And again, you're playing with the best of the best players. And what I mean by that is, like, you're looking at the U.S., this is the best of the best they've ever had for a roster.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, in your lifetime, in Connor's lifetime, in the last 20, 30 years. So to see this evolution of young talent playing as mature as the rest of European soccer, I think that's why I'm so confident if Pulisic misses on Thursday and is not involved with the lineup at all, on the subs at all, I have no issues with this team.
I've got the Athletics predictor up here. Okay. So the U.S. has clinched Group D. They will play in San Francisco on July 1st in the round of 32. 58% that their opponent is Bosnia and Herzegovina. 18% it's Qatar, and then no one else with more than 10%. If they were to win that game, would play in Seattle on July 6th against most likely either Egypt or there's a whole bunch of teams that could be third place in that bracket. But we'll say Egypt most likely in Seattle. And then you're right, it would be Spain in Los Angeles on July 10th if they were to advance to the quarterfinals. So again, not an easy path, but definitely a realistic path to reach the round of 8. And, you get on the pitch with Spain, you got a chance. We saw Cape Verde get a draw against them about a week and a half ago. That'd be a fun game to watch, to see the U.S. compete with a team that was the favorite heading into this tournament.
Yeah, and if you're a U.S. men's national team, if you're just a red-blooded American and you just love the game of soccer, you will probably be cheering for Qatar against Bosnia and Herzegovina in that last group stage match, because they both play each other. That's going to be the decider of who goes to the knockout rounds. If it's a 0-0 draw, if it's a 1-1 draw, Bosnia goes in over Qatar because they have the goal differential.
Right. But if Qatar wins, it would be Qatar in the round of 32.
They have to win outright.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. I'm excited. And Thursday, it's a late kick. If there was a game that wasn't going to matter, I'm glad it's this one. It's a 9:00 kick. I don't have to worry about staying up for it. But then July 1st, next Wednesday, will be that round of 32 matchup as we move on to the knockout stages. Before we wrap up on the World Cup here, how about the goal scoring performances yesterday from Messi, Mbappe, and Erling Haaland? Those 3 guys have played on the same day in both of the first 2 rounds of the group stage, and I think they've scored a combined 13 goals.
It's incredible.
They're ridiculous.
It goes to show you, I mean, minus Messi in this conversation, it goes to show you the young scoring talent that's out there in European soccer.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. I think Kylian Mbappe is going to definitely break Lionel Messi's goal record. Obviously, Messi broke Miroslav Klose's record yesterday. But looking in the next World Cup or the World Cup to follow, it's Mbappe's record to break.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's already top 5, right?
He's 16 right now.
Yeah.
16 goals. Obviously, Messi has 18, but it's just a matter of time for that to be broken again.
Crazy. Yeah, it's been fun to watch those players, and we're getting close to the end of the group stage. We're going to get into the knockout rounds and get some really fun matchups down the stretch of this World Cup.
My question to you that I held on to this segment.
Yep.
Inner Sandman. Should that be adopted into soccer culture?
Okay, we can talk about that coming up next and wrap up the show. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, next man up. 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Wrapping up the show on your Tuesday morning. Chasing Big Joe up next here on 102.5 The Game. Tomorrow on the show, Cory Curtis makes his long-awaited return. Had to miss last week, so Cory will be in studio with us. Looking forward to that. Dr. Crane asked me before the break, should Enter Sandman be woven into American soccer culture? And I'm all in on this. I saw a tweet, and actually my friend sent this to me. I'll bring it up, of what the U.S. should do if they reach the quarterfinals.
Because like
Here we go.
We see Country Road all the time. Why not Enter Sandman?
Yeah, it says, okay, this is for San Francisco. They're just saying for the knockout stage. I was thinking do it for the quarterfinals. Go to the Rose Bowl. It says white out like Penn State, play Neck by LSU from the marching band. Come out to Enter Sandman in the first half and Sandstorm in the second half. Play Mo Bamba at the second half hydration break. Just like full-on college footballify World Cup soccer.
And we need the Florida State chants throughout the whole game.
Yeah, the chop. I mean,
love that.
The rest of the world already doesn't like us getting into soccer. Why not embrace it? Yeah, they're going to hate all of it, but what's the difference? They don't like us anyway.
They'll be so confused. They love our culture. They love our food.
They do.
They love all that. But once they catch a little bit of college football, they're like, whoa.
I just think that's a great idea. And European soccer atmospheres, I think, are the only thing that challenges college football. Like the chants and the way everyone is bought in on every single touch. Like, great. But they ain't seen nothing like college football. The European mind cannot comprehend.
No, and that's why, look, as much as a soccer fan as I am, I despise American soccer chants. I despise them.
Yeah.
Because they all root from Europe, or they're a nursery rhyme that has been put into a...
What's the one that's getting made fun of this World Cup that we support the U.S.
Yeah.
U.S.
We got to stop that one. As Americans,
and that's the way we like it. We love it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm listening to like Blues Clues or something.
Sounds like a bunch of Savannah Banana fans to me.
Yeah, I don't want to be listening to Blues Clues during the middle of a game. I want something that's going to get me riled up, that gets the chills on my skin, like my hair start rising up. That's what I want. U.S.
coming out to Enter Sandman would be absolutely electric. I also saw a video yesterday of like, why are we playing these games in the big NFL stadiums? They're like, you can go to Los Angeles or you can go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama and have 100,000 people right on top of you. Or go to Blacksburg, Virginia. Like, show the European visitors that side of America.
Well, I think Death Valley had a game, and so did Auburn at Jordan.
Well, yeah, they did have
the
friendlies, yes, but I guess they didn't have the real ones.
Could you imagine? I mean, having actual World Cup games, and I think there was one in College Station too. It was Argentina versus Finland.
Yeah.
Or Iceland, one of the two.
Somebody was saying like Lionel Messi playing at Kyle Field was not on my bingo card for life.
Yeah, I saw that again. Somebody was like, "Yeah, Messi's playing at Kyle Field before Georgia." I was like, "That's hilarious."
Yes, I saw that one too. So funny. Quickly before we wrap up, we didn't mention Oklahoma won the baseball championship last night. That is now 7 straight SEC titles and should be 8 if Arkansas could catch a foul pop-up against Oregon State back in 2018. But congratulations to the Sooners. That was dominant last night.
Yeah, I think they rode the wave of just momentum, and we all saw how that 1-2 punch of the brothers being the pitching tandem for Oklahoma just paid off for them. And again, it just goes to show you in Omaha, being an RBI baseball team pays off longer than it does being a home run team.
Yep. Went up 9-1, ended up winning 13-2 was the final.
Mm-hmm.
And Oklahoma national champs for the 3rd time. And again, still 2018, the last time a non-SEC team won the national championship. We got the NBA draft tonight. Nate Ament likely going to be a lottery pick or just outside. I would say top 15. I saw a mock draft on ESPN had him going 9th. So that'll be interesting to see. The Tennessee freshman, one of the top players in this draft. And I would guess Tyler Nickel for Vandy, Aaron Nkrumah for Tennessee State. Both probably will hear their names, but I would guess on night 2.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Just to have 2 local guys get drafted. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's exciting. NBA draft tonight. One of the most loaded classes we've seen, especially at the top. So I will be locked in for that. We'll see who goes first. we got to ask the question, who's going to go first? Quickly, DeBonsa or Peterson? Who goes first to the Wizards?
DeBonsa.
I'm going DeBonsa too.
I'll go Peterson.
Okay, you'll say Darren Peterson. He only took one workout, and it was to the Wizards. So we will
That's
see
my rationale
if he called his shot. That wraps up our show for the day. It's been a fun one. Appreciate Dr. Crane and Connor Newt. Tomorrow, Cory Curtis is on with us at 9 a.m. But keep it right here. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next here on 102.5 The Game.